y'all hear me? Loud and clear? Everybody, this is Jeffrey L. Boney. Of course, I'm excited to once again serve as the host of Trending Tuesdays, brought to you by K. Davis Associates, and we're so excited to be here to once again talk about some of the subject matter that matters to all of us, especially now here in this day and time. I want to start off, and we're going to segue as I introduce my guest here shortly to talk about what's going on right now across town at Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church. Of course, we've since our last meeting, we've buried and laid to rest the Congresswoman who represented for nearly 30 years, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, and it was a star-studded event. I'm talking about if anybody could have brought all of the people out that were brought out to honor her and acknowledge her. I'm talking about from the Stevie Wonders to former President Bill Clinton, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. I'm talking about the Vice President, soon to be, she's the presumptive, let me just say, the presumptive Democratic nominee for President, Kamala Harris, and many, many others from her congressional colleagues, the former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, Al Sharpton, Benjamin Crump. I mean, so many people who celebrated and acknowledged the life of Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. But there is a special selection, I'm gonna call it a selection, that's going on right now by the members of the Harris County Democratic Party. And I wanted to kind of quickly break down the process of what's happening. A lot of people have been confused about what's going on. Let me do this first. Let me go ahead and introduce my guests. And that way we can have a conversation about this. First and foremost, I want to introduce someone who's been 35 plus years of executive experience. She's been in banking, she's been in community development. She served as the first female president and CEO of Unity National Bank, the only African-American financial institution, banking institution in the state of Texas. And of course, she's also most recently the president and CEO. She's no longer with them, but she was most recently the president and CEO of Lift Fund, which is a nonprofit community development financial institution that provides funding and business education to small business owners and entrepreneurs. I'm talking about none other than the Laurie Vignard. Let's give it up for Laurie Vignard, everybody. And I want to also introduce someone I've known for many years. I'm talking about someone who is the guru of real estate across the United States. She's currently the president of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, which is the premier network of black real estate professionals and one of the oldest minority trade associations in the country with over 100 chapters nationwide. She also serves as the CEO of George E. Johnson Development, and under her leadership, the company has procured contracts with major institutions such as Houston Community College System, with the Harris Center of Mental Health, Houston Independent School District, the City of Houston, FDIC, and many others. Let's give it up for the Courtney Johnson Rose, everybody.
Thank you. Such a pleasure to be here.
All right, so I was just about to get into the conversation about what's happening across the way. You have 88 precinct chairs.
Wow.
Who will be making the decision to replace the Congresswoman on the ballot, just so everyone can know the process and what actually led us and got us to this point. So the Congresswoman won a tough primary, Democratic primary race against her challenger, Amanda Edwards, at the time. She won, and so she was the Democratic nominee that would be going into the November race election, November the 5th, to face off against the Republican opponent. If there was no Republican opponent, then she would have been automatically once again reelected as the Congresswoman for the 18th Congressional District. However, she does have an opponent, but regardless of the case, there still needed to be a nominee. She passed away on July 19th of this year, and subsequently, they need now to have someone to replace her as the nominee, the Democratic nominee on the November ballot.
Wow.
The same thing happened, if you all can remember, with in 2016 with El Franco Lee. When El Franco Lee, the commissioner for Harris County Precinct 1, passed away on a Sunday unsuspectingly. He had also won the Democratic primary because he was the only person who filed a run. Nobody was brave enough to run against him, crazy enough to run against him. And so he also did not have a Republican opponent. But nonetheless, he was the Democratic nominee. He passed away after the filing deadline, and so he needed to be replaced. And so what ended up happening is all of the precinct chairs for Precinct 1 ended up having to select a replacement, who happened to be now Commissioner of Precinct 1, Rodney Ellis. He was the state senator at the time, so he had to resign from his seat. He had won state senator for precinct. A domino effect, right? A snowball effect. He was Senate District 13, so he had to be replaced. And so it was between Sophronia Thompson and Boris Miles. The precinct chair selected Boris Miles. He had to resign from his seat. And so his district seat had to be replaced now. And so it came down to, ironically, the Congresswoman's daughter. At the time, at the time, it was the Congresswoman's daughter, Erica Lee Carter, and it was Sean Theory. And precinct chair, well, actually, it went down. It had to go because they had 3 people in that race. I think Larry Blackman was also in that race. He was not one of the top 3 vote getters, so it was Sean Theory, Erica Carter, and so it was close. So Larry Blackman's voters went with Sean Theory. She ended up being the nominee for the November ballot in place of Boris Miles. So now we find ourselves in the same situation similarly